hey, Dad.
Grab your stuff. We're going to Wendy's. I need to share something with you.
Okay.
Wendy's taco salad is back. Fresh chopped lettuce topped with chili, cheese, and salsa. Served with tortilla chips and memories.
Sweetie, I know you can't remember living through the 90s, but you're about to know what it tasted like.
I know all about the 90s. I love classic rock.
Boy bands are not classic rock.
Wendy's taco salad. Try it again for the first time.
You're listening to the Melanie's Matter Show, where we highlight artists, business owners, and we talk about the matters of the community. If you're interested in more information, please visit www.theworksofmelanie.com. That's THEWORKS of MELONI.com. The book, A Typical Journey, is now being made into a movie. If you are interested in being in the movie, please send an email to melaniesmatters@gmail.com. That's MELONIS matters, MATTERS @gmail.com, or you can call or text 443-790-6303. And don't forget to pick up your copy on Amazon.com.
Hi, my name is Shakara Johnson, and I am former stylist of Miss Star Jones and Little Mo. I have editorial work in Essence Magazine 2011 issue, lead hairstylist for TYP Studios in Baltimore, Maryland, as well as former technical consultant for Soft Sheen Carson. I currently own Shakara Stream Full Service Salon in Reisterstown, Maryland. At our salon facility, we provide hands-on training for future cosmetologists, and we build relationship with current cosmetologists that are looking for new ways to grow and develop in the industry. When I started my business over 9 years ago, on paper, I was $25,000 in debt and couldn't imagine that I would have the opportunity to have my own business and still be open. The community colleges of Baltimore County recognize my journey, and they have given me the opportunity to be the new professor for professional development and entrepreneurship training. I will have my first class September the 20th, and you can register to learn more. Go to ccbcmd.edu and sign up today. Reach out to me via email, SELLFishdreams@gmail.com. Again, that's SELLFishdreams@gmail.com. We are looking forward to partnering with you to keep your dreams alive. They are the gateway to happiness, and we want you to be happy with the rest of your journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Melanie's Matter Show. I am your hostess, Melanie, and guys, you know, every time I do a show, I always say that I'm excited. The reason why I say I'm excited is because I believe on the show that I definitely try to bring people who have knowledge, have a great knowledge base, and people who are trying to make strides in today's world. And we all know that as a business owner, as an artist, guess what? It is not easy trying to put your works out there and to keep it out there. So today we're going to talk with Leroy Mckenzie Jr. and Leroy is going to tell us about his business, which is called JNF Enterprises. And then later on, I have some hot questions for Leroy, so I hope he's ready for these. So Leroy, how are you?
I'm doing great, Miss Melanie. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Now, of course, we're going to talk about JNF Enterprises, but before we get to JNF Enterprises, can you give us a little background about yourself and why you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. Well, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit in me. It was something that was instilled in me ever since I was a little boy. My mother always taught me that I could do and be anything that I wanted to be in life, and she supported me in in everything that I wanted to do. And as I got older and went on to school, that entrepreneurial spirit was nurtured and embedded in me. You go to school, you get your education, and then you get out in corporate America, and you find out that it's nowhere. It doesn't fit you. So some of us it doesn't fit, and for
Right.
those of us who have that entrepreneurial spirit, understand what that means, that you just don't fit in. So as I began to be in corporate America and learned and grew, got the experience that I needed, I knew that eventually I would have my own business. Now, if you told me it would be the business that I have now, which is JNF Enterprises, if it would look like that, then I'd have told you something different, because I thought it would be something totally different than what it actually is today. But regardless, regardless, it's still my own business, which is something that I've always wanted.
Okay, so you said you wanted to do something else. What was that something else?
Well, actually, coming out of college, because my major in college was hotel restaurant management, and my goal was to, and actually still is, I still want to own a hotel. So that was where the path that I thought I was going to be on, because it was what I went to school for. I knew I had the background in it, and I enjoyed it I enjoyed it to a degree when I was in it. But it was something that I knew I could make. That I enjoyed the I enjoyed the unexpectedness of it, because it helped me to grow, because you have to always, in the hospitality industry, you have to always be on your toes, and you have to expect the unexpected, and it's about, it really is about customer service and making sure that you not only meet the needs, but you meet the needs of your customers or your guests, but you exceed them, because they come expecting a certain type of service. So that was, that gave me that foundation and all of that. So I'm thankful for the path that it gave me, because it did put my emphasis on customer service and understanding customer service, because that was something that in school that I learned in college. Our department, our major, our dean, that was something that he was adamant about, because his background was in hotels. So he knew what we would enter into when we got out of school. So that's where that came from.
Okay. So you talked about the hotel business and you wanting to be in that business. So when did you make the transition and you figured, hey, this is not quite what I want to do. I want to do something else?
It actually happened when I was working at two different instances. The first one was when I was working for, I won't say the companies, I was working for a hotel, and myself and the GM, he and I have become best friends. We're still friends to this day, some 20 years later.
Wow.
So he and I, when we first started, because we started at this hotel chain at the same time, at the same hotel at the same time, and we actually, it's funny because we interviewed at the same time. And I wound up interviewing, we interviewed the same day, and I interviewed before him and wound up getting the assistant general manager's position. And he got the other position that was there, which was the manager in training. So, we were working for this particular hotel, and no lie, Melanie, we were doing, each of us individually were doing like some 70, 75 hours each a week.
Wow.
And I remember telling him, I'm like, man, this is crazy. I was like, I'm not killing myself for these people, like for these, for these folks. I said, if I'm gonna kill myself, I'm working. I'm gonna kill myself for myself.
Okay.
I'm not working for somebody just to make them. That was my mindset. I'm not gonna make somebody else rich, and and kill myself when I can, when I want to do this for myself, and and want to, and want to make something of myself. So that started it. Oh, I should say that was the beginning of it because I left there and and began to work. And began to work. I worked at another hotel after that, a little after that, but I began to start to think about how I could, what I could do to make businesses run better at that time, because I was like, there's got to be something better, not just for me, but businesses need to be run a lot better. So I'm in corporate America, and I'm working for this other company at the time, and I start to deal with corporate 500 companies. And just seeing how inept they were in running their businesses and how they had people in the wrong places, in leadership positions, or title positions, and they were wasting money. They were running these businesses into the hole. And this was like the mid 90s going into the 2000s. So, everything was booming in the mid-90s, but then you had this, crash of the dot-coms and everything else in the late 90s going into the 2000s. So you had all of these companies that had these people that were mismanaging their, these companies and businesses. So I said, there's got to be a better way for businesses to be able to do it, and that's where my first business book came out, which was The Customer's Not Always Right, and it's a book on business and finance and how how we need to have the right people in the right place, trained to be able to run our businesses more effectively. So that's where that started, and that's how I branched into publishing because I wrote my own book, and I did not want to go the traditional route. Of publishing. I wanted to be able to, control what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, so that it would have some, it would be my vision and not somebody else's vision.
That's
so
interesting.
That was the beginning of it.
Okay, so we have made the transition into you telling us about JNF. So you could just go ahead and finish telling us about what JNF has to offer to people.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Now, I said you could go ahead and, complete the transition as to talk about what JNF has to offer, because you started out with publishing, so that was under JNF, correct?
Correct, absolutely. That's where it started.
Okay.
And what happened was when I wrote my books, I came out with my books initially, and then after that, I started having people ask me, well, how do I, they had a book that they wanted to publish. How do I go about publishing a book? So I had learned some things along the way, and what I took was the knowledge that I'd gained, and I used that to be able to help to assist others to publish their books, and became a publisher. And then when the publishing aspect of it came about, I also grew the business consulting that I do, because I wanted entrepreneurs to understand the same thing and not go through the pitfalls that I did with starting my business as well. So those two branches of JNF came about that way, the business consulting and the publishing, because of my passion for wanting to have others to be able to have who had that mindset and wanted to start their own business and thrive and be entrepreneurs to be able to do the same thing.
Okay, so let's talk about the control of publishing, because I think that's important. And I know for me, when I published my book, it was important. But in saying that, having the control factor, how difficult or how easy do you think it was to push your books out into the public's eye?
Well, it's It's very difficult, and I don't want people to think that it's something that's, once you have your book out, then it's all of a sudden going to sell thousands of copies. That's nothing further from the truth. Your selling begins when your book is actually finished. That's when the hard work really starts. Is then, because you have to, and especially if you're going to be what I call an authorpreneur, which is where you're an author, but also you're an entrepreneur, and I don't call, instead of calling it self-publishing. But when you're an authorpreneur, you take on all of those responsibilities, which means you also take on the marketing, you take on the branding, all of those things that come with writing a book, because people don't know who you are. So you have to be strategic and develop a system to be able to grow, to be able to not only grow your, to be able to sell your book or to sell copies of your book, but to grow your brand. Because that's what you effectively are when you come out with a book. You're a brand. So you have to decide on how you want to brand yourself and how you're going to effectively brand yourself.
Right. And for you, was that an easy task or was it difficult?
No. For me, it definitely was. It was not easy. It was. I had my bumps and bruises that I had along the way. And I still have them, and I still have them. It's the learning process, because I'd never written a book before. And if you ask me, would I've been an author and written a book, I'd be like, you're crazy. I don't know anything about writing books. So I was going into it not knowing anything about it. So, but what I did was I tried to find people along the way who were willing to teach me what they knew, just even in the printing. I'll give you one quick example. One of the publishers that I went with, his name is Mr. Coates, who owns Black Classic Press Company, which is a printing company. When I was printing my book with him, he showed me different ways to be able to do what it was that I was trying to do. So, and he actually took me in the back of their printing company to show me the printing process so that I could understand it and see the process. Wow. Because a lot of times if you don't know the process, then you just think, that it gets done all of a sudden and everything. And that it doesn't happen like that. So understanding things like that, I learned a lot from him. He was able to teach me. So I took those things that I learned from him and I taught it to other people so that they could learn it and know it and understand, so that when they were in that beginning process, they had someone who taught them, who was teaching them what I'd learned,
Okay. So how beneficial is that, or how beneficial was that?
Oh, it was very beneficial for me, because it, like I mentioned, it taught me the process, and I understood the why certain things I learned about the different texture of paper, color versus, when you're using color, when you have pictures and you have things that need color paper versus the regular standard text paper, the difference in them, the feel of them, but also the pricing. There's a big difference between a book that has color in it, that you need color paper, and a picture and a book that you just need regular paper in it. There's a big difference in the price. So learning things like that was very beneficial for me.
Okay. So let's ask this question. As a publisher, how did it feel to book your first client?
Oh wow! Let me tell you, I was ecstatic when I had my first client who asked me to publish her book, and she and I are still friends today, and she's gone on to do some great other projects that she's worked on, collaborated with other people on it, and all of those things. But it was such a joy, and the pun, I guess I'll say it's a pun intended because her name is Joy.
Okay.
But it was such a joy to see her get her book in her hand the same way when I received my book from the printer and had it and held it in my hand. That was what that made me happier than necessarily her being with her being the client, but also seeing her vision become reality and be brought to reality. I can't even begin to explain to you the feeling that I had when that happened.
Okay. So what's Joy's last name?
Turner, Joy Turner.
Joy Turner. Okay, so that was your first client. Okay, and what year was that, give or take?
She published her book. Oh, you put me on the spot, Mel. 220. It was 2000 and I think it was 2009.
Okay, so since 2009, I didn't think you was gonna go through all that, but since 2009, give or take, how many other authors have you helped to publish their books? Give or take.
Give or take, it would be around between 20 and 25.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Some because I offer different packages, but with all of the authors that I've either published, fully published, or that I've done marketing for them or have done consulting with them, it's between 20 and 25.
Wow, that has to be a great feeling. I mean, just to know that your hands have been involved in some way, that has to be a great feeling. Yes,
I can't. Like I said, I can't even begin to explain to you how it makes me feel to help someone or assist someone to be able to bring their vision to reality. It's no other. I mean, it's a great feel. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah,
it is an awesome feeling.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk about the consulting side of JNF Enterprises. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see you on Facebook. Hey, stick around for a few minutes.
HighKappa.com is the official headquarters of CPS. Visit HighKappa.com to get the latest news, music, and fashion. HighKappa.com is where you want to be.
Baltimore, come out and see comedian Howard G's hit musical comedy stage play, Never Could Have Made It. Saturday, October the 29th, for 2 shows, 3 and 7 p.m. And Sunday, October 30th at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Potter House of Baltimore, 6218 Ricerstown Road, Baltimore, Maryland, 21215, right next to the BP gas station. All tickets are just $25 for this hit stage play. Starring comedian Larry Lancaster and comedian Stiletto and an awesome cast. For ticket information, call 410-808-5805. Once again, 410-808-5805. You gotta come out and see this play. Be there!
Do you have a dream that you're just not sure of how to make it a reality? No problem. Visit www.jnfenterprises.com and you'll be guided as to how to make your dream a reality. JNF Enterprises, bringing visions to reality, building the 21st century company.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Melanie's Matters Show. We are live on Facebook, and we're talking with Leroy Mckenzie Jr. Now, before the break, he was telling us about the author side of JNF Enterprises. So, in a minute, he's going to tell us about the consulting side. You know, it's 2 different ball games, but it's the same in a sense, and then he's going to explain that. But before we talk back to him, I definitely want to tell you guys to definitely look out for this play that's by Howard G. never could have made it. And it is Saturday, October the 29th. And it's from 3 o'clock and 7 p.m. And then it's Sunday to October the 30th at 3. It's at the Potter's House Drama Ministries. Okay, so definitely check this out. Howard has been in the game, you guys know, forever. He's been on TV. He's been on commercials. He's just been doing his thing, and he's made some transitions too in regards to his career. So he has directed plays, he has starred in them, he has done it all. So definitely check out this play. And if you want ticket information, just give him a call at 410-808-5805. Okay. You just heard this. HighCapper.com. These guys are doing it big. Some of the articles on that website you gotta laugh at, but some of it is very interesting. But if you want the latest news, music, and fashion, check out HighCapper.com. And they even have this section on there. It's called something hot pants or something. I don't know. It's eye candy. That's the name of the page. It's called eye candy. So I guess that's for the guys. I don't know. All right. Now, Mr. Carver Johnson. This girl is amazing. This lady, I should say. She's amazing. She has worked with Star Jones. She has worked with Little Mo. And she has an entrepreneurial class that is has started, I believe, at CCBC. So if you guys are interested, please connect with her. She's a powerhouse, and I didn't even know it. But her email is selfishdreams@gmail.com, and that's SELLFISH dreams. And we have the man of the hour, Mr. Leroy Mckenzie Jr., guys. He's on now, and he's telling us about JNF Enterprises, so you guys make sure that you stay tuned for that. And definitely visit his website. He has some interesting stuff there. That's jnfenterprises.com. And then, as you guys know, I am slowly but surely working on A Typical Journey. The project should be done by next year. So if you guys are interested in being in that, please let me know, 443-790-6303. And, of course, if you'd like to be on the Melanie's Matter Show, just visit www.theworksofmelanie.com, and my name is spelled Meloni. So, and I have to say that because somebody said, hey, I was trying to go to your website, but isn't it Meloni? No, it's no E, it's Meloni. So I have to put that out there. So again, thank you guys for hanging out. You guys on Facebook and you guys on Blog Talk Radio. Thank you guys for listening. So we're back with Mr. Leroy Mckenzie Jr. Leroy, so you talked to us about the publishing side. You know, you've helped authors, you've written your own books, but so now tell us about the consulting side of JNF.
Well, sure. Well, what I did, I decided that what I wanted to do, and part of my purpose, I found to be was to bring visions to reality, and that encompassed helping others to be able to start their business, grow their business, and flourish their business. Because I found when I started my business as an entrepreneur, there were things that I didn't know. Here we go again with starting out in a particular industry and having to learn things, how to just learning things. And what I found was there were not a lot of there wasn't a lot of information out there on how to sustain your business, because as you may know, Mel, most businesses fail within the first 5 years. Over 70-80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So how do you have all of these books out here that tell you how to start a business, but they don't, they get you to where the doors are open, but they don't show you how to keep the doors open. So my focus was, once the doors open, how do I go about keeping the doors open? How can I be a successful business within those first 5 years? And that encompasses a certain thing. you have to do, I believe, you have to do certain things in order to be successful. And one of the things that I developed to kind of contribute and help others to be successful is what I call an entrepreneur kit. And what you have is, you in your car, you have, I have a friend of mine. She has what's called a car kit. She has, she has a flashlight. She has a blanket. She has like the what do you call it? Fix-a-flat. She has things that she needs in case something happens with her car.
Right.
And I thought it would be ideal to do the same thing with entrepreneurs. How do you prepare yourself for going into business? And so many of us make the mistake of not doing that. We don't prepare to be in business. So I came up with this kit that would include certain things that you would need in order to be able to start off being successful, or how to continue to be successful. And it includes things such as the industry research, like whatever industry that you are a part of, doing the history of it, understanding where that industry was, where it is now, and then where it's going to be in the future, because you need to understand that, and you need to know that if you're going into a particular industry, because you could be going into something that that isn't worth going into, and that could lead you to failure anyway. So doing the research for you, having a business plan template to walk you through the steps of a business plan. How do you write a business plan? What needs to be a part of the business plan? Also, within there, the marketing strategy, your branding strategy. What is it that you want to do, and what is it that you want people to say about you? That's your branding. Also, your biography for if you're going to need if you're going to be looking for investors, or going to a bank to get a loan. You need to have a resume to be able to understand, so that they can see what your experience is. What do you bring to the table? So having that, a sample website, knowing what a website, which you should include in your website, what you should have on there, the important things of on there, your social media, understanding social media, how to be able to build that, set up those type of things. So the entrepreneur kit incorporates all of those things, so that the person who has the who buys the kit has that preparation with them before they even go into business, because the first thing we do is sit down and talk about their vision. We don't even worry about anything before we sit down and talk about your vision. What is it that you want to do? Where do you see your business? What business is it that you want to go into? Tell me, and then also learning about the individual, because that helps in the formation of the entrepreneur kit as well. So those are things that that I do on the consulting side to assist those to be able to flourish in their in particular industry, and then also understanding about branding. The importance of branding, because a lot of people don't think about that. The importance of branding, and part of branding is one of the things that I've learned to tell those who are entrepreneurs. One of the things that needs to be on their list if they're going to be an entrepreneur is to write a book. So, because if you write a book, it actually it not only brands you, but it also people will see you as an expert in the particular industry that you are a part of, and it helps to grow you in your particular industry, because the first thing that people will say is, when you've written a book, let's say you and I are having a conversation, and you say, well, Leroy, what is it that you do? And I say, well, I've written the book on business and finance. I've written the book on entrepreneurship. You're going to be like, really? So that, what made you do that? And then we go into, the particular things that I, talk about in the book. And you're seen as, wow, he must have really done something if he's written a book, because, when we think about people who've written books, we think of individuals who are, world-renowned bestsellers, but when you put yourself, even if you're not a bestseller yet, you say you've written a book, it's like, wow, automatically people put you at a certain level. So you're able to grow yourself branding wise that way, and then also grow your business too, because you add a certain value to not only yourself but to your business when you've written a book. So that's how those, the business consulting kind of runs into the publishing as well. So.
Okay, I can see that. I can see, that overlay. I've never thought about writing a book per se, but it does give me another perspective. Well, I'll say I've never thought about writing a book on the area that I would be proficient in, which would be media. But I can definitely see how, just like you said, if you write a book, then that gives people a perspective of you. Well, you gotta know something. You're an expert. You gotta be an expert in this or close to an expert. So I'm more amped to listen to you. So that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Okay. That's good stuff.
No, and what that does also is it actually it can give you several other platforms. It can give you the platform of speaking, because if you have a book, then people may want to hear you come and speak. Wow, can you come in and talk to speak to my company on, about this, or can you come and speak to my organization about this? Those particular things, or so it gives you another platform and another income stream, because people will want to have you come and speak. I guarantee you. You've written a book, people will want to have you come and speak, and then also you begin to you can use it as to speak on radio shows like I'm on talking with you tonight, because of the very fact of I've written books about certain things, about certain topics in certain industries. So it gives you that as well, because people want to hear what you have to say, and they believe that their audience wants to hear what it is that you bring, that you're bringing and that you offer by writing a book or in that particular industry. So that it adds that it having a book adds that aspect to your portfolio as an entrepreneur.
That's interesting. I like that, and I'm going to have to really think about that in the near future. I'm going to have to think about that. One thing that I definitely have to ask you is, as far as the internet is concerned, what mistakes do you think that people make the most as it relates to the internet and social sites and things like that?
Here's the biggest one and it may not mean much to other people, but it's a pet peeve of mine, and it irritates me, and it has to do with Facebook. Whether it's Facebook and even I think Instagram too. Some people do it, and I believe I've done it on Instagram, but on Facebook. If somebody tells me, let's say I meet someone and they give me their Facebook page, right? And I see on their Facebook page that they are either, let's say, self-employed or they're an entrepreneur. They have a particular business, right?
Okay.
The first place that I will usually go to is their About page, and if I don't see their website, their Twitter account, their Instagram account, any of their other social media accounts there in their About page, it is, to me, I think that's the biggest mistake that people make, is not having that information right there. Because if I tell you that I have a business and I'm trying to promote it, the first place I want you to go to buy something is where?
I'm sorry, I was typing at the same time. The first place that I would go to buy something.
The first. Well, if I want somebody to buy something from me, where's the first place that I want to tell you to go to?
Probably Facebook or one of your social sites.
Right. More than likely, it's going to be my website, though, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be my website. So if my website isn't on my Facebook social media page, then I'm losing business, are there? Because if I can say, oh, visit my website, or if I'm going to say visit my Facebook page, they go to my About page on Facebook, I have my website there, they more than likely will say, oh, well, let me check and see what his website is about, what he has on his website also. Takes them right to the website, and they can actually then see the products that I have. So that I have to offer. So you want it should direct people to your website, because that's where you want them to, after they've looked at your Facebook page and they've, seen those things. But on your Facebook page, on your About page, there should be some link to your website. They have some kind of way to your website.
Okay, so now I'm looking at mine. I honestly don't. I mean, that makes perfectly good sense, but I don't remember. I really do not remember. And to be honest with you, it's probably not updated with the most current information. It's probably not. So I will be doing that when we're offline. I will be doing that, because that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes perfectly good sense. So let me ask you something else about social media. Now, do you think that people in general, entrepreneurs in general, do you think that they should try to sell products and services on social media, or no?
Well, I think that they should. I don't know if I think you can promote it. I think you can find ways to market it, to use social media to market it. But like I mentioned, you want to direct people to your website, which is where they can buy the product. Because if you use your social media site effectively, it's going to direct them to your website, because people will be intrigued by what they see on your social media pages. Like I have my regular page, which is my name, and then I also have my business page, which is my company's page. And everything on my company page focuses on, whatever events that I have coming up, whether it's speaking engagements, whether it's my products that I offer. But on there takes them to my website. So if they want to buy something, they have to go to my website and buy it.
Okay, cool. So I should have led this conversation with this question, but I didn't. So I'll just ask it now. So what does JNF stand for?
JNF stands for Jesus Never Fails.
Okay, so why that particular name?
I came up with that name because it came up when I started thinking about my company and what I wanted to do, and me having the strong Christian faith that I have. I wanted to incorporate that in it, and I started thinking about the ministry of Jesus, because part of what I do, I believe, is ministry. Part of my business is ministry, because what Jesus did when he was on the earth here, he did three things. Jesus never failed. One, he never failed at anything that he did. Was one, which was the kind of the name, how the name Jesus Never Fails. He's never failed me. He's never failed me. He's always been there for me whenever I needed him. So that's how the name. But behind the name were three things that I wanted my company to represent, and that was to enlighten, empower, and impact. Because that's what he did. He enlightened people, which is where he taught. And he taught everyone that he encountered or that encountered him they were taught something. He enlightened them because he equipped them with the tools they needed in order to be able to do what it was that they wanted to do. And then thirdly, he impacted them, which was he sent them to do for others what he did for them. So everything that I do is encompassed in those three things. Because of what he means to me and what Jesus has meant to me and how he's never failed me. So that's where the name came from.
Okay. So let me ask you that. With that explanation of what JNF Enterprises stand for, do you think that you could possibly turn people away? Say if someone wanted your services, but because of your Christian beliefs and because of the name and the explanation of the name, do you think that could possibly deter people from wanting to utilize your services?
Well, it has. It actually has. I
Wow.
actually, I had a gentleman, and he was Jewish. And he and I had our initial consultation. He actually wanted me to. He wanted to initially when we had talked. He was looking to do some marketing, some additional marketing for his book, because he had a book out, but he had looked to do some additional marketing for his book. And so in the midst of our conversation, of course, it came up about JNF and what it stood for. And he said he would have to, he would have to think about it. He would have to, I think when we got back together, he said he had spoken with his rabbi, and he couldn't do business with me because of what that stood on. Yeah. So it has turned, people away because of, what it stands for. But my stint has always been, I'm going to be who I am, and if you can't, if you allow your dislike for what I represent to, what my company, represents to, and choose not to be, to do business with me, that's on you, not me, because I believe my foundation is always been, the people who are meant to do business with me will do business with me. Those who aren't, won't. So are there going to be people who don't like it? Of course. I think in any business there is. Won't I get out? Will it keep me from getting certain, maybe certain markets or certain aspects of the business? Probably so. But I don't let that keep me from being who I am, because I would not be myself if I did business with someone just because. And I've had people tell me that, doing business because just because of to do business and to get money. I've never been that way. I don't want to do business with somebody just to make a dollar. I want myself to I want it to be a win-win also. But like I told you before, those three things, the enlighten, empower, and impact, those have to be a part of everything that I do. Any and everything that I do, I pride myself on having those three elements as a part of my business, and that's my brand: enlighten, empower, and impact. You won't have anything that has to do with JNF that does not have those three elements to it. It's going to teach you something, it's going to equip you with something, and it's going to impact you with something. Those three things. It has to have that. Oh, I can't do it. I won't do it.
Wow. Okay. So we've talked about your history. We've talked about your transitions from being in the hotel business. You have a degree in what?
Hotel restaurant management.
Hotel restaurant management. Okay, that's interesting. And so we've talked about that. We've talked about the consulting side of JNF, and we also talked about the publishing side to JFF Enterprises. So are you looking to expand more, to put more underneath the umbrella of JNF, or what's in store for the next 5-10 years for JNF?
Well, a couple of aspects of it is the distribution part of it that I have, which is the Christian-based products that I have, which are hats, shirts. Because I haven't focused a lot on that aspect of the business right now, but it's I have a collection, the Try 3 Jesus line, and then also Christ First line, which it incorporates hats, T-shirts, mouse pads, pens, those type of products that I have. That's one thing that in 2017 I'm going to be focused more on. I want to do that. I want to get that back going. I want to have it going stronger. Now I offer it now, but not as much as the publishing and the business consulting. And then the second thing is actually the speaking part. of JNF and doing more doing more speaking engagements and having to impact individuals, impact people that way, with the knowledge and resources that I offer.
Okay. So you are still looking to collect entities underneath of the umbrella of JNF. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good move because, as we all know, in business is always evolving. Nothing ever stays the same. So what's hot today will not be hot tomorrow. So it's good that you're in the mindset of expansion. That's great.
Right. Yeah, and it's expansion, but it creates and I tell any entrepreneur that goes into business, you always want to leverage your business because there's cycles. Every industry has cycles. So if there's one aspect of my business that is, kind of in that down cycle, I have one of the other parts of it that is, that's still going and still moving and everything like that. So you have those ebbs and flows with the different aspects of it, but it's in a continuous where you're always continuing to have something going on and something that's on an upward trend. That way, it keeps your business flourishing and flowing.
Okay. Now this is a hot question. One hot question, because you know what? I didn't tell you that the other ones were hot questions, but this is definitely a hot question. How often do you evaluate your business?
I actually evaluate it every year. Annually, yes. I believe every business owner and entrepreneur should do that. Whether it's, I think you should at least do it a minimum of annually. But if needs be, you can do it, twice a year. But I think annually is good because at that time you're able to assess either that particular year, things that went well, things that didn't go well. Things that you can do better, the things that you want to focus on in the upcoming year. So I think you should be doing that on an annual basis, and that gives you the opportunity to look at your business plan, to see where you are in your business plan and that you're sticking to your business plan, or do you need to adjust your business plan, and go in another direction or go in another area, or like you just talked about expansion, do I want to expand what I'm doing? Do I want to go into another area where I can offer, either another product or go into another aspect of the particular industry that I'm a part of. So I think you should do it on an annual basis.
That's good. I think I'm up for an evaluation coming in January, and I'm going to definitely put that on my calendar because things have changed. And as we definitely we talked about that a few minutes ago. Like 2 years ago. So we're talking about in 14 and in 15. What I do, my form, it was popping. I mean, it was really popping. But things have changed, and I know why things have changed. Things have changed because we have Facebook Live, or because we have more, videos. So things have to change. So now in January, I have to sit down and go to the table and say, okay, now what? What am I going to keep? What am I going to get rid of? What am I going to tweak? So I agree with you on that. I agree with you. I think every business owner, like you said, needs to do an evaluation because it gives a fresh eye to what you're really doing. Because sometimes I think that we do stuff and we just do it. We just do it because it's us and we know what we're doing, whatever, but we don't take that time, that necessary time to sit down and evaluate. What are you looking for? Are you hoping to make $50,000 or, $100,000? Have you done that? Where are you? So you got to look at the metrics too. So that's a good point, Leroy. Very good point.
Right. And it gives you, like we said, because industries change, technology changes. Think about it. Like you just said, not even 5 years ago, there was no Facebook Live.
Right.
There was no Facebook Live. There was no, there wasn't. There was no Pinterest. I think there was no Periscope. You had all these all of these different what you call it, live venues that people, have now that we didn't have access to not even 5 years ago, not even 2 years ago. So a lot of things can change within a year.
Yeah.
So we have to be kept abreast of what's going on in our particular industry to kind of see, where we're going to be that next year, so that and I learned this in school, that you want to be ahead of the curve. The bell curve. You never want to be on top of the bell curve or behind, certainly not behind the bell curve. You always want to be in front of that bell curve, because things are always changing. So you always have to, be mindful of that and be up on technology. You got to be up on the different things that are going on.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So Leroy, in closing, because we've held you up about an hour now, in closing, tell people how they can get in contact with you for consulting or for publishing information, your website, how to get in contact with you on Facebook, phone numbers. Just tell us all.
Sure. They can visit my website, which is www. And see, do we even need to say www anymore?
I don't know, but we'll say it just in case.
Right, www.jnfenterprises.com. That's the website. You can also go on to, I'm on Facebook under Leroy Mckenzie Jr., or you can visit my business page, which is JNF Enterprises. I'm also on Instagram under JNF Enterprises, Twitter, JNF Enterprises, at JNF Enterprises 1, and then Instagram is at JNF Enterprises as well. So, and my email address is jnfenterprises@yahoo.com, and then if they want to reach me by phone, they can reach me at 443-762-2324.
Now, give me that phone number again, Leroy. 443?
Sure. 762 2324.
Got it. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Mr. Leroy Mckenzie Jr., who was giving us great information about JNF Enterprises, and he gave us some gold nuggets. And the gold nuggets were, if you're an entrepreneur, if you, trying to get your business out there, certain things that you should do, certain things that you shouldn't do, or certain things you should stay away from. But, guys, if you want to learn more information about what Leroy does, definitely check him out at jnfenterprises.com. Until the next show, you guys take care. Leroy, I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Fios is not cable. We're wired differently, which means you can get the fastest internet available with equal upload and download speeds from 50 to 500 megs. So you can upload 200 photos before your favorite song is finished. Click the ad and switch to Fios today to get our best offer ever.